There are legends that return every winter. Stories that surface when nights grow long, when fires burn low, and when people begin to wonder who or what might be watching from the dark beyond the door. And across cultures, across centuries, the same fear reappears. Not just of monsters, but of judgment and torment. Because Christmas was once a time when the dead stirred, when spirits judged the living, and when survival depended on appeasing forces far older than the modern celebration. Welcome, step closer. Tonight, we follow the forgotten Christmas figures that never became ornaments or postcards. Before Christmas became a season of light, it was a season of reckoning. The figures we will explore tonight were spoken of in whispers when the fire burned low and the nights grew long. These were not visitors who arrived with cheer or forgiveness. They did not reward hope or innocence alone. They watched, they measured, they judged, and they were not meant to comfort, but they were meant to warn and bring chaos. Now, let's unveil the dark side of Christmas. In the Alpine villages of Austria and southern Germany, long before Santa Claus or Krampus masks, people once feared a figure who walked during the 12 nights of Christmas. They called her Frau Perchta. Medieval records from Bavaria and Austria mention her as early as the 13th century. But scholars believe her origins reach far deeper, into pre-Christian belief systems tied to fate, domestic order, and winter survival. Perchta was said to arrive during the Rauhnacht, the 12 nights between Christmas Day and Epiphany. These were liminal nights, when spirits could cross freely, when time itself felt unstable. Homes were cleaned thoroughly before her arrival, food was left on tables, tools were put away, and spinning wheels were stopped, because Perchta inspected households. Children were taught that she watched how they behaved all year, whether they obeyed their parents, whether they worked, and whether they told the truth. And those deemed good found a silver coin left behind. But those deemed lazy or disobedient faced a punishment so specific and so violent that it appears unchanged across villages separated by mountains. Perchta would cut open their abdomen and fill it with straw, stones, or wood shavings. In 1582, a parish record from Salzburg mentions a woman named Anna P., who claimed her child fell gravely ill after Perchta's night. The child survived, but the woman swore the child woke screaming about a white woman with an iron knife standing at the foot of the bed. The account was recorded by a local priest as superstition, but it was preserved, passed on through folk tales. And Perchta did not only punish children, women who spun wool during the forbidden nights were said to be targeted as well. One Tyrolean account, collected in the 19th century, tells of a farm woman found dead in her kitchen on January 6th. Her belly was cut open, and her entrails scattered with flax fibers. The official cause was never determined, but locals said Perchta had come. And over time, fear turned into ritual. Men began dressing as Perchtan, wearing grotesque masks and bells parading through villages. Today it is part of a festival, but originally it was done for protection. When Christianity spread, Perchta was labeled a witch or demon. But she could not be erased. She retreated into folklore, into warnings whispered to children. Far south, beneath the winter skies of Greece, another Christmas terror waited. The Kallikantzaroi. According to Greek folklore, these creatures live underground all year, sawing at the world tree that holds the earth in place. But during the 12 days of Christmas, when Christ is not yet fully baptized, the tree heals itself. The Kallikantzaroi then are forced to abandon their work and rise to the surface. They are described as small, dark, animal-like beings with twisted limbs, red eyes, and long claws. Some accounts say they smell of sulfur and earth. And during Christmas nights, they slip into homes through chimneys and cracks. They spoil food, extinguish fires, frighten sleepers, and mock religious objects. In 1870, folklorist Nikolaos Politis recorded testimony from villagers in Thessaly who claimed that during Christmas week, livestock were found panicked and barns left in disarray, with no tracks in the snow. One man claimed he saw a hunched figure perched on his roof, laughing before vanishing at dawn. Another account from the island of Crete describes a woman who swore she was held down in her bed by a heavy presence on Christmas Eve. She said she smelled damp soil and heard teeth chattering beside her ear. When she screamed, the weight vanished. To protect themselves, families kept fires burning all night. They burned old shoes to create foul smoke, and they hung crosses and basil above doors. On Epiphany, when holy water blessed the land, the Kallikantzaroi were driven back underground, condemned to begin their endless task again. They were not judges like Perchta, but they were intruders, punishers of disorder, manifestations of chaos released when sacred time broke open. And further west, in the cold valleys of Wales, Christmas brought something quieter but no less unsettling. The Mari Lwyd, a horse skull mounted on a pole draped in white cloth, decorated with ribbons and bells, and carried from house to house between Christmas and New Year. Those who encounter the Mari Lwyd are challenged to a contest of verse. Insults are traded in rhyme through the closed door. If the household loses, the Mari Lwyd enters, and when inside, it snaps its jaw, chases guests, demands food and drink. Today, it is described as a folk custom, but older accounts paint a darker picture. In 1801, Reverend Evan Jones wrote of a village near Llangenwyd where an elderly woman fainted upon seeing the Mari Lwyd approach her door. She reportedly claimed it was not men beneath the cloth, but something moving on its own. Another account from Glamorgan in the 1840s describes a child who refused to sleep after the Mari Lwyd visited, insisting the horsehead watched from the window long after the group departed. The skull itself represents death, and the white cloth, burial. The ritual arrival during the dying days of the year connects it to older rites of transition, when the dead were believed to walk among the living. Scholars believe the Mari Lwyd may descend from pre-Christian death and fertility rituals, later disguised as harmless tradition. Across all three figures, the pattern repeats. They arrive during Christmas, during liminal nights, and they judge, intrude, demand order, or bring chaos. They blur the line between living and dead. Their stories survived because winter demanded stories that enforced discipline, respect, and fear, and perhaps because people also truly believed they were seen. Today, Perchta is a mask, the Kallikantzaroi are a tale, and the Mari Lwyd is a performance. But in mountain villages, island homes, and quiet Welsh valleys, some still leave food out. Some still keep fires burning. Some still feel watched when the year turns. Because across cultures, one truth remains. Christmas was never only about joy, but it was also about survival. And somewhere, in the longest nights of winter, the old judges and tricksters still walk. Thank you for venturing beyond the veil with us. If you enjoyed the video, then please subscribe and join the watchers. The shadows have more secrets to reveal. Until next time.